Hope you're doing well. I'm going to try to record the video a little bit differently today. Instead of up and down, I'm going side to side. Instead of vertical, I'm going horizontal with my camera. So I'm hoping you'll be able to see a little bit better. Okay, so we are going to do lesson 9.4. So turn in your books to page 513. And your assignment today will be 517. So again, once you do the assignment, if you want to tear it out really carefully from your book and put it in your pile to return to school, it will be due on May 1st. Okay, here we go. Our essential question for this lesson is how can you relate fractions, decimals, and money? So we're talking money today. Woohoo! I set up some things here on the board already. I still have the place value chart up here with the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds place with our decimal point that we use the word and for, as well as the tenths and the hundredths place. Okay. So we'll talk about the rest of this that I have up here in just a minute. Okay, so our first problem. Together, Julie and Sarah have $1 in quarters. They want to share the quarters equally. How many quarters should each girl get? So here's a reminder over here. How much those different money amounts are worth. So in a dollar there is 100 cents. A quarter is worth 25 cents. A dime 10 cents and a penny 1 cent. Okay, so in a dollar, let's see here. Let me get my quarters up here. Just like in the real math class, I have to get my stuff together. Okay, I'm going to borrow this quarter over here for a second. Okay, so 4 quarters it equals $1. 25 plus 25 is 50. 50 plus 25 is 75. And 75 plus 25 is $1. So if we have 4 quarters and it's Julie and Sarah, they want to share the quarters equally. How many should each girl get? So if we split them equally, Julie will get 2 quarters and Sarah will get 2 quarters. So they will each get 50 cents. And because 25 plus 25 is 50. And we can do that over here. 25 plus 25. 5 plus 5 is 10. Put down your 0, carry your 1. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. So 50 cents. Okay. So it says 1 quarter is 25 hundredths of $1 or 1/4. We've talked about that a little bit before, and this is why I set this up over here. So a quarter we know is worth 25 cents, and there is 4 quarters and $1. So that means if you have 1 quarter, it equals 1/4 of $1, but it also equals 25 cents out of 100 cents total in $1. So 25 hundredths. 1/4 and 25 hundredths are equivalent fractions because if we start with 1/4 and we multiply by something to get 100, and we're using quarters, so I'm going to do 25. If we do it to the bottom, we do it to the top. 1 times 25 is 25. So 1/4 and 25/100 are equivalent fractions. And so if we're talking 2/4, instead of being 1/4 of a dollar, it's 2 out of 4/4 total for a dollar. And we know that 2/4 is worth 50 cents out of 100 cents total in a dollar. So 2/4, of course, is equivalent to 1/2 also. And half of 100 is 50, half of 4 is 2, so 1/2 is also an equivalent fraction, which it goes over on the next slide. 2/4 are 50/100, 2/4 or 1/2 of a dollar. 1/2 of a dollar is 50 cents. And so each girl should get, it says circle the number of quarters each girl should get. So each girl will get 2/4 or 50 cents. Now remember, we've got, they don't get any whole dollars, so that's why I've got a 0 in the whole number place. And then 50/100, what we learned in our last lesson, is equivalent to 0 wholes and 50/100. So remember, if you've got a number in the hundredths place, you read it as hundredths. Okay. Use money to model decimals. Get rid of this stuff, and we'll start on that. Okay, so if we have $1, which is right here, $1 is the same as 100 cents. So if you look at this, since there's 100 in here and there's 100 cents in a dollar, that means the fraction would be 100, you've got 100 cents in a dollar, out of 100 cents is the total amount in a dollar, so 100/100, 1 whole. And the way that you write 1 whole is with a 1 in the ones place, and then 0 left over parts of a dollar, so 1 and 0 cents, $1. Okay, so you would write that as 100 cents. Okay, give me just a second. Let me make sure that I'm doing this the way they want us to do it. And I am. Okay. So next, if you, you know, 10 dimes equals $1. And I've written this over here. So 1/10 is equivalent to the amount of money in a dime. So the fractions that represent a dime are, if you have 1 dime, you have 1/10 of a dollar, meaning that since there's 10 dimes in the whole thing, and you have 1 dime, that would be 1/10 of a whole. Or if you look at these as individual, what the value of a dime is, it's worth 10 cents out of 100 cents is the total amount of cents in a dollar. So 1/10 we know is the same as 10/100. And we did this yesterday. 1/10, or not yesterday, on the last lesson, is 10/100. Because remember, we can add 0 on top and bottom. And the way that you write 10 cents or write 10/100 as a decimal is 0 wholes and 10/100. So the money amount is 0 wholes and 10 cents. Okay, and then we have a penny. Now, penny's worth just one little square out of our base 10, in our base 10 blocks, one single. And a penny in a dollar, which is 100 cents, 1 penny is worth 1/100th of a dollar. And the way that you write 1/100th, you have 1 out of 100. That is a 0 in the whole number place, a 0 in the tenths place, and a 1 in the hundredths place. So this is one that kids often get a little bit confused on. So remember, we have to put that 0 in the tenths place because one single is, you have 0 tenths, or the longs, okay? So 0 whole dollars, 0 tenths, and 1/100th. Okay. Next page. Says, think of dollars as ones, dimes as tenths, and pennies as hundredths. Okay. Get rid of this. All right, so dollars as ones, dimes as tenths, and pennies as hundredths. If you have $1.56, that would be one way that you could represent that is $1, 5 dimes, and 6 pennies. So $1.56. So there are 100 pennies in a dollar. So $1.56 is also the same as 156 pennies. Let's see here. So to represent it as place value, so this one does dollars, dimes, and pennies. This one does ones, tenths, and hundredths. Now we know if we have $1, that goes in the ones place, the whole number place. If we have 50 cents, that's the same as 5 tenths, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And if we have 6 pennies, that would be 6 hundredths because our pennies are worth hundredths. Okay, here we go. Here's some more examples. It wants us to shade the decimal model to show the money amount. Then write the money amount and a fraction in terms of dollars. Okay, so we're going to shade the model. And this has a dime, which is 10 cents, a nickel, another nickel, and a penny. So our nickel plus our nickel, that's 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 10 more with our dime is 20, plus the penny, which is 1. So we have 21 cents. So we need to shade 21 sections or squares, cubes, on our model here. So there's 21 shaded. And then it wants us to write the money amount and a fraction in terms of dollars. So they've already given us the fraction in terms of dollars, so we've got to write the money amount. So we're going to put our dollar sign, 0 whole models were shaded, and 21 hundredths. Okay? All right, next we have a whole dollar. So that means that I'm gonna try the shading thing again. See if it works. Okay. Oh, it's gonna work today. All right. So we're gonna shade that whole entire thing. And then over here in the coins, we have a quarter, a dime, and a penny. So this would be 25, 35, 45, 46. So that means we're going to shade 40, or 4 of the 10s, And then we're going to shade 6 of the ones. So altogether we will have 46 shaded, and then of course the whole. So now we've got $1.46 or 1 46 hundredths of a dollar. All right, so this is fun. I like to complete these charts. So there's going to be, we're going to have bills and coins, a money amount, so written with a $, a fraction or mixed number, and then this. If you guys will notice, this usually is a little bit confusing. If you will notice, the money amount and the decimal are exactly the same. The only difference is the money amount has the $, in front of it. Okay. So that means we can go ahead and fill out, over here we've got 0.25 or 25 cents. So we can write 0.25 here. And then let's go up. If you had this amount of money, 0.03, it would look like this, 0.03. And notice that 3 is in the hundredths place. So this is read as 3 hundredths, okay? So we can write that fraction in there. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. And you won't be able to see it that way. Okay. So our fraction is 3 hundredths. And then the money, or the bills and coins, would be 3 pennies. So 3 pennies, P-E-N-N-I-E-S. Okay. Now, on the next line, we have this amount of money, which of course is 25 cents. So one way you can write 25 cents is 1 quarter, Q-U-A-R-T-E-R. Now if we have 2 quarters and a dime on the next line, 2 quarters and 1 dime. Quarters, 2 quarters would be 50 cents, plus a dime would be 60 cents. So the way that you would write that, here's our fraction, 60 hundredths. And you would write that as 0 whole dollars and 60 cents. 0 wholes and 60 hundredths. Okay, then it says we have 2 $1 bills and 5 nickels. Okay, so 2 $1 bills, of course, equals $2. And then 5 nickels. Nickels are worth 5 cents. So we're going to count by 5s 5 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So $2.25 is our money amount. Here's my $2.25. Okay, so for the fraction or mixed number, we need our 2 for our whole. And then the way that you would write 25 as a fraction, or 25 hundredths, is 25 over 100. Something else, because 25 hundredths is not in simplest form, if you have 1 quarter out of 4 quarters that are in a dollar, you have 1/4. So that's another way to write it. We could write it as 2 and 25 hundredths or 2 and 1/4. Which I'm going to do that. I'm going to write this a little smaller so I can fit it all. 2 and 25 hundredths, or 2 1/4. And then as a decimal, you just write it exactly like this one, just without the dollar sign. Okay. Here's a question. Would you rather have 25 cents or 3/10 of a dollar? So if you're wanting to have more money, would you rather have 25 cents or 3/10 of a dollar? Well, think about for a second which coin is represented by tenths. And of course, that would be the dime. And if you had 3/10, that would be 3 dimes. So you would have 0 whole dollars, a 3 in the tenths place, and we can add on another 0 because 31 hundredths is the same as 3/10. So would you rather have 30 cents or 25 cents? I'm thinking probably 30 cents. All right. So we'll write under here 3/10 of a dollar because 3/10 equals 30 hundredths. 30 hundredths equals 30 cents. And make sure this is showing up. And 30 cents is greater than 25 cents. Okay. All right. One more page. Here we go. Write the amount of money as a decimal in terms of dollars. Okay. So we have 5 pennies, which equals 5 hundredths of a dollar. So let's write that here. 0 whole dollars, 0 tenths, because 5 doesn't have a 10 in it, and 5 in the hundredths place. So you would write that as 0.05 or 5 hundredths of a dollar. Okay, next. Write the total money amount, then write the amount as a fraction or mixed number and a decimal in terms of dollars. Okay, so this, if we go back and look up here, they're wanting us to write the money amount, fraction or mixed number, in the decimal in terms of dollars. So we're not going to have to do the bills and coins this time. Otherwise, they've given us 3 blanks, so that's because they want 3 answers. Okay, so here we have, I always start with the biggest coin first. So I've got 3 quarters here. That's 25, 50, 75. Then the next biggest valued coin is the dime. So each of those are worth 10 cents. So we had 75, 85, 95, $1.05, $1.05. And then the pennies are worth 1 cent. So $1.05, $1.06, $1.07, $1.08, $1.09. So $1.09 is written like that. If we're writing it as a mixed number, that's 1 whole dollar and a 9 in the hundredths place. So 9 hundredths. And then the last thing is the same way we just wrote the first one, just without the dollar sign. That's how you write it, a decimal in terms of dollars. Okay. My board's getting a little fuzzy. Let's see here. Okay, next we have a quarter, 2 dimes, and 3 nickels. So the quarter's 25, 35, 45, 50, 55, 60. So that would be 60 cents. And in one whole dollar there is 100 cents, so 60 hundredths. And then a decimal in terms of dollars would be 60 hundredths. Oh, that's getting real fuzzy. Give it a minute. You guys know it does this sometimes when it has to catch up a little bit. Okay. Alright. The next one says, and I'm going to try something here real quick. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Okay. Write as a money amount and a decimal in terms of dollars. Okay, so this time we're just writing the same thing over and again without the dollar sign. Okay, so we have 92 hundredths, so that would be the same as 0 whole dollars and 92 cents, or 0 and 92 hundredths. Okay, if we had 7 cents, 7 hundredths, that would be the same as 7 cents. So 0 wholes, 0 tenths, and 7 cents, or 0 and 7 hundredths. And then 16 hundredths would be like 0 whole dollars and 16 cents, or 0 wholes and 16 hundredths. And then the last one, 53 hundredths, would be 0 whole dollars and 53 cents, or 0 and 53 hundredths. Okay. This is the part that you normally would do on your own. So just like the videos before, if you would like, you can pause now and then do these next questions, and then you can check and see if you got them right. Okay, so we have a dime, a dime, a dime, a nickel, a nickel, a nickel, and a penny. So that would be 30 cents in dimes, 35, 40, 45, 46 cents. So we're going to write 0 whole dollars and 46 cents. In a cent, there are 100, or in a dollar, there are 100 cents, so 46 hundredths, or 0.46, 46 hundredths. Okay, here we have 1 whole dollar and 25, 31, 2 cents. So $1 and 32 cents is the same as 1 and 32 hundredths, or 1 and 32 hundredths. Write the money amount as a decimal in terms of dollars. Or write the money amount and as a decimal in terms of dollars. So 27 hundredths is the same as 27 cents, or 27 hundredths. 4 hundredths is the same as 0 wholes, 0 tenths, 4 cents, 0 wholes, 0 tenths, 4 hundredths. 75 cents would be, or 75 hundredths would be 75 cents, or 75 hundredths. And 100 100ths would be $1, or 1 whole, and 0 hundredths. Write the total money amount, then write the amount as a fraction in a decimal in terms of dollars. So if you have 1 quarter, 6 dimes, and 8 pennies, that would be $1 and 68 cents, or 1 and 68 hundredths, or 1 and 68 hundredths. 3 dimes, 5 nickels, and 20 pennies. So 3 dimes would be 30. 5 nickels would be 25, so 30 plus 25 is 55. And 20 pennies would make it 75. So 0 wholes and 75 cents, or 75 hundredths, or 75 hundredths. Let me make sure I got that right. 30 and 25 and 20. Yes. Okay. All right, so your assignment is page 517. Remember to read the instructions carefully because like on number 2 it says write the amount as, or write the total money amount, then write the amount as a fraction or mixed number and as a decimal in terms of dollars. So most of your assignment today, you're going to have to write 3 answers just like we did on 14 and 15. Okay. Your assignment's page 517. You can, of course, do page 518 if you would like. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's all for now. Bye.